Good morning, family, and welcome still to another episode of my video. I trust that you guys are doing well. As for me, I am doing so well despite the cold this morning, but I am fine. Okay, today we continue with our last video about the big question: do you miss Russia? If you are new on my channel, please subscribe and like. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you so much for helping me grow on YouTube. The only support you can give me, please, is to like and subscribe to my channel. Also, to turn on your notification bell so that each time I upload a new video, you will be notified, especially now that I've chosen to talk a little bit about my experience in Russia and to answer the big question, if at all I miss Russia. Great. To proceed with our question, we had Nabila. Like I told you, from our group, there were 12 people that asked me questions, and out of the 12 people, I selected 3 persons that I choose to answer their questions. Reason being that from my analysis, answering questions from these 3 people would mean I have answered questions for almost all, because these questions were like the same questions rephrased in a different way. So I selected from Nabila White. Nabila White from IT. Hello. I know, my God, if I tell you a small story about Nabila White, when I knew this girl, I thought she was from my village, because this name Nabila is a very popular name in my village. And I told her the meaning. I was like, I have sisters that are called Nabila and spelled the same. But she didn't believe me. That was just by the way. She's really a sister friend. She's a big sister, and she has encouraged me so much. She has been like my backbone in Russia. I will cry on her shoulders, and irrespective of the problem I have, she will have a solution for me. So shout out to you, Nabila. I have decided to talk or to answer your questions publicly like you had wished. I hope that at the end of all this, I must have been able to answer your question. Great. So to proceed with Nabila's question, she had so many questions. She has about 8 questions for me, and I'm supposed to answer them honestly, and I will answer honestly. Okay. Her first question was, do you miss Russia? That was the big question. The big question. About 6 people asked me this question, if I miss Russia. And I think to answer this question, I will give my advantages and my disadvantages, and then we'll analyze at the end to make a conclusion on if I truly miss Russia or not. Yeah. I got interrupted. I was trying to say that sorry guys, I'm in the kitchen at the same time and I'm trying to do my video. Yeah, so I'm cooking on low heat, and from time to time I go to check. I was saying that Nabila asked so many questions because, to be honest, she initiated this idea for me to speak a little bit about Russia. So her first question was, and like many other questions that I got from others, the question was, do you miss Russia? And her second question was, what was your main challenge? What was my main challenge in Russia? Her third question was, what did you enjoy most about Russia? What did you enjoy most about Russia? That was her third question. I took the questions down. I'll be putting them on the screen too. Yeah. What did you enjoy most about Russia? And the fourth question was, did you face racism? Her fifth question was, what is your best Russian meal? Yeah, that one is a very cool question. I Let's continue. I'll answer that. I was just about running to answer because when you talk about food, I'm a foodie. I don't want to hear food. Okay. Will you advise a foreigner to relocate to Russia? That was the sixth question. And the last question from Nabila White was, what was your saddest experience? All these questions are very important questions to me. I don't know if I'll answer them like I would summarize to answer Nabila's own questions to 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 make a single vlog about Nabila's questions, or I will answer her questions episode by episode, because these questions are very important questions, and they are very technical questions. For me to be sincere and answer them properly, they are going to be a little bit elaborate, especially the question of, did you face racism in Russia, and what was your main challenge in Russia? These are really questions that are very important for me because I have a lot of memory about that. Then we proceed just by the way to talk about Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke is a South American, and he's from Suriname. Robert, I know you see my video. Make sure you watch even 20 times to encourage your girl, okay? All right, Robert asked, in just a few words, what was your saddest experience in Russia? I think talking about saddest experience, I would like compress Robert's question to join it with Nabila questions on what was your main challenge in Russia. I think answering this question from Nabila would certainly answer Robert's question on my saddest experience in Russia. So for Robert's question, I think is cancelled, so it's going to be answered among Nabila White's questions. Now we have Carl Barak. Carl Barak is an American. He's really white. Like I don't know much about America, if he's South American or he's really main America. I don't know how it is over there, but he's an American. And then he says, aside Moscow, which other city did you visit in Moscow? This also a very good question. Which other city did I visit in Moscow? Okay, I think it's just a very straight question, and we also need a very straight answer to it. So Barak's question is not really, let's say, will not necessitate emphasizing on it. So we put Barak aside. I think maybe in the course of answering White's questions, we might answer Barak's questions. Now to answer, if we want to start by answering Nabila's questions, I would say there are some questions that we will merge them, because to me, when I read them and when I try to reason it out in my mind, they are almost the same. Answering them they will have the same answers according to me. For example, what do you miss Russia? And do you miss Russia? Talking about if I miss Russia, the way I'll try to analyze it, I'll give my positive point of view and my negative point of view, so I can be able to really tell myself truly if I miss Russia or not. And then what was your main challenge? And this question, what was your main challenge? And which other question? What was your saddest experience? I think both questions are almost the same question, but framed in a different way. So I would say these two, they work together. These two, what was your main challenge and what was your saddest experience? Yeah, because if I want to talk about my saddest experience, I must talk about the challenges I face while having that experience, you know. I think I'll merge them together. They work together for me. And then this particular question, did you face racism? To answer this question, it will be a little bit broad, and I think I would personally make it a topic on my own, because it's a story that I want to relate to this particular question. And what was your main challenge? Okay, we've talked about that one. What did you enjoy most about Russia? All right, talking about what I enjoy most about Russia, that would still fall in the category of did you miss Russia? Because like I said, for me to say if I miss Russia or not, I'll have to talk about the positive things that I encounter in Russia and the negative, some of the negative things that hit me hard in Russia. From there, I'll be able to tell if I miss Russia or not, you know. I think having summarized all things, I left with just two questions. Like, did you miss Russia? And did you face racism in Russia? I mean, to me, I think we've left. And then Barack's question, if aside Moscow, because I was in Moscow, aside Moscow, did I visit any other city aside Moscow? So, talking about missing Russia, it was a good experience, to be honest. Russia blessed me. I left Russia happy. There were moments I cried while I was in Russia, because it was challenging. I will start with the challenges I faced in Russia. The winter, the weather, the season. Honestly, I don't know. Let me remind viewers that I am from Central Africa, and we are used to sun, not very much used to harsh cold. So I am not really a winter girl. I don't enjoy cold. Irrespective of, I really don't enjoy cold. So honestly, winter hit me hard. Then while winter was passing, I was like rejoicing, like summer is here, summer is coming, summer is here. I mean, being happy that the sun is around. But mind you, even during summer, I hated it. Hated it because the sun in Russia is, I just feel like Russia is an extreme country. Like when it wants to be cold, it is really, really cold. Imagine in Moscow, we have minus 20 something at times. And when you are shivering and crying, that is too much cold for you. Another person will tell you from my city, like Siberians will tell you from their city they have minus 60 something degrees. And you ask, do you survive? He will tell you, but I'm alive. Last weekend, I went to see my grandma. You ask yourself, is this a human being? But trust me, he's a human being. God. So, the climate all around in Russia, I can see there were just few moments I enjoyed about Russia climate, be it winter or summer. There were just few moments I enjoyed, because during summer, walking outside to me is difficult. The sun is not the sun I know in Cameroon. Like the sun in Russia is like, I can say the sun is in Russia is like 20 times more than the sun I know in Cameroon. I'm giving my honest review. I'm just being honest. Okay. leaving weather aside, I don't know if people will believe me honestly, but I'm just being honest with myself. The weather in Russia was, I didn't like it. Let me be honest. I didn't like it. For me to enjoy, for me to be comfortable, I should be that person where when I leave my house and about to go somewhere, I'll get a taxi. If it's in summer or in winter, I'll get a taxi. That was where I enjoy comfort, but I couldn't afford it because my means were so limited, you know. Taking taxi all the time was very expensive. So you have to put yourself amongst the people that take metro. You walk from your house, you take bus, you go to the metro station, you take the metro station. I mean, I think we have trashed weather already. I really want to make it very, very brief for all these things. And the metro to me was very tiring. At first, I was enjoying it, but after about some few months, it started boring me. Boring because in the metro, hardly would there be times that you would sit. Yeah, and you know, there's always scramble to get into the metro. People will always scramble to get into the metro. That's one. The second thing, you know, when it was tiring when you are in the metro station to get to your gate where you're supposed to take, I mean, from one metro to another. You have to mingle yourself into the metro station and try to see where your boss is, where exactly will you. It is tiring. You have to climb stairs. Sometimes you go right down. I ask myself, even, how did these people even manage to do that? My God, it is underground. And when you go underground, trust me, you won't believe you are underground. And not believing you are underground, if you see the construction that is being done underground, you won't believe people, I mean, there is another world up. You won't believe it, that cars, vehicles are moving up. And the metro station is so sophisticated that will boil down to infrastructure. If there is one thing I enjoyed in Russia, oh my God, the infrastructures. I might leave my house and just be walking on Moscow streets and enjoying the buildings, enjoying the craft, enjoying the designs on the wall, enjoying. It's so beautiful, so beautiful. About infrastructure, Russia, take, you did it. I used to walk. When I was walking in the street of Moscow at times, I would think in my head, how did they do this? And it's not like something they did just yesterday or 10 years ago. I mean, it's something that has lasted years upon years. And you ask yourself, what inspiration? The architectures that took time to do this. I mean, you see the knowledge, the intelligence, the arts, the way they mix everything, the beauty they give to infrastructures, be it the roads, be it the walls. I mean, it's beautiful. The town was beautiful. Yeah, so I'm mixing everything. I was already on weather that I didn't like all around. Yeah, I was just, honestly, but climate, weather in Russia wasn't my thing. I realized that during winter, I had a lot of difficulty in winter, and even in summer, I still had difficulties in summer because the heat in summer is too hot. It's like, it's too hot for my liking. So I think that's two already. Then the third, Guys, this video is becoming so long, and I haven't really gone far with the question. And the second disadvantage, I mean, we talked about the climate that I didn't enjoy. We talked about transportation system that my means were limited to be navigating myself with taxi, so I was obliged to be taking metro, and it was a little bit very difficult for me using the metro, not just by mingling myself into the metro station, but I mean, it's tiring at times. Yeah, it's tiring at times. And my third disadvantage, sorry, a message just got in, I was trying to read, was writing. My third disadvantage was paperwork and security. Guys, if you are a foreigner in Moscow, you just need to have your passport with you 24/7, because in as much as they see you black, police will approach you, and you should be ready to provide your passport, your registration. That wasn't even a big issue. Paperwork in Russia, to deal with immigration in Russia, fuck. Oh my God. White was the one helping me, Nabila White. I mean, at the last minute at the immigration, for every time that I visited the immigration, I cried. Maybe paperwork was difficult for me because I had language barrier. That was another challenge that I faced in Russia, language barrier. I wasn't speaking Russian, and it's a huge one. Let me seize this opportunity to say, for any person that wants to go to Russia, if you are visiting Russia as a tourist or on invitation, try to learn the language. But if you just want to go to Russia, I would rather advise you to go as a student, so you can learn Russian language at the PATFAC. Yeah, first year of your university, you try to learn the Russian language. That will give you an upper hand, because you will be able to mingle yourself. You'll be able to, I mean, the primary, you know, to greet, Здравствуйте, Spasiba, to greet, to thank, please excuse me. You'll be able to say one or two things. It was a very big challenge for me, the language. And I was happy because I noticed something. Most Russian police speak English. That was my joy. Big joy for me. Like, when I noticed that most Russian police speak English, for every problem I faced in the street, I wouldn't go to a citizen, to a civilian. No. I just look around. Is there a police standing somewhere? I will just go to the police. I will just go to the security agent and pose my problem, ask my questions. So, language was a very, very big challenge for me. Weather, their climate didn't favor me all season round. It didn't favor me. I kept on having dry nostrils, nose bleeding. The air was too dry for me, be it in winter like in summer. I had difficulties breathing. It was so difficult for me. Like, where we work, we had air fresheners that were put like this. It pumps fresh vapor into the room. I mean, all around. I think that's the only thing that was helping me cope. Yeah, and then to top the chart, I think for my disadvantages I already gave, and about 3, that should be enough. And for my last advantage, like I said, I enjoy the infrastructure, the beauty of the place, enjoy the food. I was so familiar with Russian food because to me, from my analysis, I would say Russians, they have food, African-like food, and they eat a lot of Irish potatoes that I also enjoyed, and they made it porridge just the way I loved. They have rice that they cook jollof, like jollof rice. They have beef that they fry just like we do. So talking about feeding in Russia, I really didn't face big problem here. And also shout out to Russians, like life in Russian is practically cheap. Food is very cheap, rent is very cheap, and yeah, I think that is that. So if I've answered these questions, I think our next episode will be on under the question, did I face racism in Russia? I think, did I face racism in Russia? I would rather end here for this episode, and for my next episode I'm going to explain to you and tell you if I face racism in Russia and what exactly happened, because I have a very small story to tell you about my racism experience in Russia. Thank you so much for watching. Please just accept my confusion as it was in the various topics, and I have tried to summarize it, but looks like it's still very long because I try to give small stories here and there, and I am happy that you came to watch. Please just like and subscribe to my channel to help grow my page on YouTube. I thank you so much for stopping by, and click the notification bell so that each time that I upload a new video, you will be notified. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Thank you so much for encouraging me. Thank you so much for pushing me. And I love you. Bye bye.